The first video that I did designed to help new players get into the game in a successful way was the grip. The grip is crucial. Like I said, put your hands on the golf club so that the function of the hands allows you to hinge the club up and strike down on the golf ball. The second fundamental that's as important after you've learned the grip is posture. How do you place your body in relation to the golf ball? And I like to use acronyms to help people remember keys. Let's use the acronym GPS. G stands for grip, P stands for posture, and S stands for stance. In this video, I want to talk about posture, basically the position of your upper body in relation to the golf ball. So here's the key, and this is what's cool about the way I taught you about the grip. When you start with a club behind your hip joint and your hand hanging naturally, and you hinge the club up, you're going to stand in much better posture than if you got the club on the ground. A lot of people have the club on the ground and they look down at their hand when they're putting their club or their hand on the club, and right away they're in poor rounded posture. And whenever you're in a rounded posture at the top of your body, you're never going to learn to bend forward from the hip joint. When you look at great players on the tour, whether it's the PJ or LPGA, you see a common fundamental. They're bending from the hip joint, right? So that's critical because the ball is on the ground. You know, if you think about hockey or golf, it's the same. The puck is on the ice, the ball is on the ground, and those players have to tilt forward to get their ball or their body toward what they're trying to hit. If you were hitting a baseball or a tennis ball, your spine would be more upright because you'd be swinging at something that's in the air. So the axis of your spine has to be toward what you're trying to hit. And the way to do that is to make sure you're tilting from the hip joint. So often when people have the club on the ground and they put their hands on the club, they're already bending from the neck, and therefore they don't ever learn to bend from the hip joint. So here, this is critical in the pre-shot routine that I want to teach you to start your game of golf with. Always with the grip, lead hand, allow the club to fall on your fingers, palm on top, push down, cock it up. Now I'm standing in good posture. Now from here, I put my trail hand on the golf club. Now before I put the club on the ground, what I do from here is basically drop the club down so the butt of the golf club is pointed at my belt. Now, how do I get the club on the ground from this position? I could just drop the club and have poor posture, or I could push my hip joint back and bend at the hip joint. You know, often what I do, we have a class, a 101 class that we do during the summer, and I'll have new players take the shaft and put the shaft of the golf club right on their hip joint and kind of pinch their shoulders back so they're in good posture and learn to push their hip joint back. That's the way to get the club on the ground. It's from the hip joint. So in the fingers, palm on top, hinge it up, trail hand on the golf club, in the fingers, lifeline of your trail hand goes right over your thumb, hinge the golf club up and down. That checks my grip. Now I pull my shoulder blades back a little bit, and then I allow my biceps to rest on my chest. And then from there, I drop the butt of the golf club to my belt line. I take one step with my trail foot, my lead foot is back behind me, and then I push my hip joint back until the club drops on the ground. So there I've got grip and posture done. And the cool thing is that works with every club in your bag. I don't care if you're hitting a drive or a sand wedge or a bunker shot or anything. It's always grip it, plug in, step, push your hip back to get the club on the ground, and then from there, you're ready to learn to take the stance. That's going to be our next video.